Just to give you some context, I worked this arts festival at some school here for the past 3 days. Now I'm just meeting with the team to give them some things that I needed to give before I go and rest. And yeah, I was just looking at this school kid and I was thinking, they look so worried and sad, and they're probably going home early because they're not feeling well. But yeah, just a side note that when you're young, don't stress too much, guys. The team is on it. I'm so grateful. Now I can go and rest and just live life. I must say I was disappointed with this. It was a 3-day event. It wasn't as lucrative as I had hoped. I'm also quite determined, as you can see. I'm sure you guys know. So even if it's not my business, I always want to make sure that I do things with excellence, that I'm showing up as if it was something I would be doing for myself. But I did my best. What now? Not gonna cry, not gonna stress. I did that, didn't cry, but I was a bit concerned, and yeah, but let's go. I literally needed black. There's only one tube left. Talk about being blessed. Very random, but I've decided to buy myself candles. Learning to take in the moments where you're just resting and having alone time is so vital for your mental health. Okay, so I'm looking for candles in Checkers. She said, where I see charcoal, I'll see candles. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who know me, good cooked food or good food in general makes me so happy. I didn't eat dinner last night and I'm literally feeling like warming up my dinner to eat it for breakfast, because why not? I cooked it, okay, with my sister obviously. I'm gonna go now back to my apartment and I'm going to eat food, and then we're gonna go outside and paint.
I told the painters they could get started on my new office in an hour, but you can't turn your back for a second around here.
The breakfast is this extravagant every morning.
I still can't believe.
Hello folks, I just had a power nap. It was super needed. These couple of days I've worked so hard. Honestly, every time I think of what I'm doing to get closer to being rather who I am, so not actually get closer to it because we're embodying being her now, I know it's worth it. And I just received confirmation from someone who I really care about, and they were saying that they're obsessed with the channel, and it's just a friendly reminder that I'm doing so well. So that was full on grateful. I also shared that with Jemima. How am I going to carry all of this? Not to worry, there's a plan. Where there's a will, there are ways. You get to see me in action finishing off this piece. I'm so looking forward to having this big version on Etsy. By the way, our Etsy link is linked below in the description. But yeah, I was thinking about life recently in terms of how I do personal development. Jemima and I are busy, or rather constantly growing, constantly learning. We're on the matter of how time is an illusion, which is basically a trap made up. And you can't necessarily think that things are in the past, future, or now, when in fact time is linear. And this made me grab the concept of the version of ourselves where it's normally, I guess, the higher self, right? One who has accomplished all that we have desired, or one that has no worries, one who is just living their best lives. Then I thought about how, we would say dear future self with journaling, etc., or working for our future self, desiring and wearing what our future self wears. And then I was thinking about how this whole future self notion is actually, it's doing more harm than good, because it always makes you feel like you're not there. Because when you are there, you're probably going to say dear future self, unless you change your self concept of believing that you yourself are them now. And I know it's quite controversial. I was thinking about it when it comes to this art, and how I mentioned in a couple of videos that I would love to live the lives that these ladies live. One of freedom, where they just living their best lives. And I was thinking, why can't I do that now? Like, why? I actually can. I can literally do it now. When you think about these things and you put it into perspective of how it's so simple, when you take away the fear that's silly, holding us back, so to speak, you realize that life is literally a game. You can decide to play to win, or you can decide to live other people's dream lives by you sacrificing your own. It's really deep, but this is my dream life. Being outside in nature on a random weekday and just being able to paint, being able to create, being able to be my authentic self whilst looking absolutely gorgeous. And I'm doing that right now. So instead of thinking, oh, I only have today and tomorrow to really do that, like realistically speaking, that's not correct, because there's no such thing as time. Wow. Just live now, enjoy now. And life will become so much more sweeter. Let's take this lady, for example, engaged in convo. She is enjoying her glass of wine. And not to say that I would like to start drinking. So I decided, nah, it's not for me. I just don't like it. But she's enjoying her glass of wine in this absolutely gorgeous denim dress, multicolored. And she's having a conversation with whoever she actually is giving the time of day. Because to a degree, Gabriella Noki Denim artwork and fashion is an extension of who I am. So being a person who is quite straightforward, it's easy to see what type of space I was in whilst creating the artworks. For example, this lady, she's a person who I can say is an all-rounder. She looks amazing. She's engaged in conversation that is not particularly boring, otherwise she wouldn't be talking to the individual that she is talking to. And she's at a social gathering that is for the elite. These women are by all means not basic, okay? So let's get that clear. I'm sure you've seen that by now, because the artist itself is not basic. I always think about how it plays a role in the people who purchase GabriellaNoki Denim. How do they see their lives, for them to be able to connect to an artwork like this? It obviously means that we have or share similar beliefs or same outlook in life. It's really interesting and fun. The more I think about it, the more I'm excited to create. I'm absolutely enjoying myself to the full. It's a father and a little girl in the background who are having some bonding time. Honestly, sometimes I really miss my dad. Sometimes you ever lost someone and then you thought it's high time you actually stop talking about them because you need to move on. That's what I've been feeling recently, and Sometimes I feel a bit sad because I know my father and I were super close, but you've got to continue because, you know, I'm a born again Christian. I believe that I will see my dad again. But for now, I need to focus on the life that I'm living. I'm living life right now. Yeah, I don't know why I mentioned that necessarily. I guess someone needed to hear that. This is her bag. One of the key iconic symbols that all the ladies with no baggage wear. So let's start making the straps. This will be the front. 2 holes over here. Strap about that long. This should be enough. I'm so excited to actually glue this down to the background and pin this bag on because then I know I'm almost done. Let's check the positioning. Oh my gosh. Photos to add it to our Etsy store immediately. That is it. We are officially finished with painting the large version of Engaged in Convo. Cheers. This artwork is so beautiful. I must say, every time I create it, I think it doesn't get better than this. And then I surprise myself. I'm like, with that being said, she's going to go on Etsy as of right now. This is important because I'm not going to wait for things to be perfect. And that's that. Gone are the days of us waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now because there's no such thing as time anyway. I'll see you in our next video. Ciao. Bye.